Now at 11, we are following breaking news as an officer has been shot on the Far East Side. It happened near 38th and Midhofer Road. We have learned it started with an incident at a gas station, which led to a shootout with the suspect at a nearby apartment complex. That suspect is now dead. We have live team coverage tonight, so let's get right over to anchor Todd Connor. He is live outside of Methodist, where the officer is recovering. Todd?
Eric, I am outside Methodist, where the officer was taken shortly after the shooting happened, just before 7 o'clock tonight. The good news is he is in good condition and he is expected to be okay. We've learned he was shot in the foot as he got into a firefight with a suspect. Like you mentioned, the incident started at a gas station near 34th and Midhofer earlier this evening. The officer followed the suspect and then got into that shootout at a nearby apartment complex. We'll get you to the scene there in a few seconds, but first I want to show you what the scene was like here. The ambulance carrying the unidentified officer rolled up here to Methodist Hospital just about 4 hours ago. Lots of other officers here as well to support their brother in blue, as they always do when an officer is involved and hurt in a shooting. Once again, though, the officer was shot in the foot, is expected to make a full recovery. As for the suspect, they were taken to Eskenazi Hospital in critical condition, and that suspect has since died. We'll have more on the officer in just a minute, but let's get over to Chance Walser, who has been at the scene of this shooting all night long, and he can tell us exactly what happened over at that apartment complex and at that gas station. Chance, what do you have for us?
Well, Todd, first of all, this is a very large scene. It's actually more like two scenes, so still plenty of work for investigators to sift through. We also know tonight that there were several people caught in the crossfire as gunshots began. One of those people put themselves in harm's way to come to that officer's aid. It all began as a traffic stop at a Marathon gas station at 38th and Midhofer.
One of the passengers in that vehicle took off on foot southbound on Midhofer.
An assisting officer gave chase in his police car. The suspect stopped running at the Amber Woods Apartments, several hundred yards down the road. And as traffic drove by,
the suspect turned and began firing at the officer. The officer made it out of the vehicle. The officer was struck on the foot, and then a tense gun battle ensued.
Bullets flew, hitting an Indigo bus and several other vehicles, one of them occupied by Jennifer McCown.
My husband got down, but because I was close to the steering wheel, all I could do was lean a little bit. And my husband's like, you've got to find a way to get down, and you've got to find a way to get down. And I'm like, oh my God, they're shooting towards us.
No one in those vehicles was hit. Among the crowd of cars appeared an off-duty security guard who joined the officer's side to shoot at the suspect. Once the gun smoke settled, emergency crews rushed the officer to Methodist Hospital. The suspect was taken to Eskenazi in critical condition, but his condition changed as the night and the investigation into why he ran progressed.
The suspect was taken to Eskenazi Hospital and died a short time ago from the injuries sustained in the confrontation here with the police tonight.
And right now, police are not telling us how many times the suspect was shot, where on his body was shot, or by whose bullets he was shot. They're also not releasing his name right now. Todd, the police chief was actually here at the scene just a few minutes ago. He told me that wounded officer is in good condition, actually in relatively good spirits tonight. You might know more about that. Let's check in with you back at the hospital.
Yes, Chance. We are standing outside Methodist Hospital tonight. Thank you very much for that. And the officer, as you said, is in good condition and is expected to be okay. We don't know exactly when he'll be released from the hospital tonight. But as we said, he was shot in the foot during that wild firefight with the suspect. However, as police said, the suspect didn't fare as well. He was taken to Eskenazi Hospital in critical condition and died a short time later. All throughout the night, though, it's kind of cleared out now behind me, but throughout the night earlier, a lot of police officers showing up here at the hospital to support their brother in blue. Anytime there's a shooting involving a police officer, they immediately race, if they can, to the hospital to show their support. And that's what they did tonight, including Chief Rick Height, who was here before he went to the scene. And here's what he had to say, calling it a very tough night for the IMPD.
This is what we do. This is what you pay us to do. But more importantly, the brave officer who's now recovering wants to go back on the street right now and continue what he started. And that speaks volumes to the type of officer and caliber person he is.
While it's rare for officers to be shot, which we're very glad of that, and also pretty rare for a suspect to die in a police shooting, it has happened on occasion in the past year. Of course, the last IMPD police officer to die, Officer Perry Wren, shot and killed back in July of last year. That was over on the east side. And the last shooting involving a suspect's death was October of last year. Officers were responding to a robbery at a GameStop on Southeast Street when they got into a gunfight with 3 suspects from Chicago. One of the men was hit when he pointed his gun at police and refused to drop it. Also, a suspect was shot and not killed in November. Officers were serving a drug warrant, and the suspect reached into his waistband as if he had a weapon. Anytime you talk to a police officer, no matter which department they're from, they will tell you they don't like having to draw their service weapon and shoot at a suspect. It's not something they enjoy. It's something they have to do. It's something they are paid to do. It's something they do very well here at the IMPD. Once again, the unidentified officer here at Methodist Hospital, shot in the foot, in good condition, expected to be okay. The suspect has died at Eskenazi Hospital. Erica, we'll talk to you in a couple of minutes from now, but for now, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Todd, for that live coverage. And we're going to continue to watch this story very closely throughout the night. Our GMI team is here right now working on the story, and we're going to have live reports tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana. You can also get the latest updates, including when the officer is released from the hospital, on our website and app.